Now, this course that I've been using as an example is about inventions. Maybe I want my students, as getting started discussion to get this conversation going, maybe I want them to talk and think about self-driving cars, these cars that Google has been experimenting with. Would they feel safe in a self-driving car? Would they buy one? Do they think they're safer than normal cars? So I want them to watch this TED Talk and respond to it. So how would we do that? This really takes us to our next conversation of embedding media like this right inside of Schoology. So in a YouTube video, and you'll see this in a lot of other places, when you go down to the share link, you will see an embed code. And this is the specific video that I am looking at here. I'm going to post it in that same chat window that you all have been using. When you scroll down in this video, you'll see this share button. And by default, this gives you just the generic YouTube link. But you can pop over to this embed tab, and it gives you this ugly looking code here. The good news is you do not need to know anything about this code, nor do you need to change anything in it. You just copy it. What embed codes do is allow one website to put another website inside of it, basically. So we copy that code, and in Schoology, here's that discussion. Here's the magic trick. Self-driving cars. And here are the instructions. Please view the video and answer a few questions. And maybe I would have my students debate, would they or would they not drive the self-driving car? I want a description here or instructions here that really incite conversation and debate. I'll let you all use your imaginations on that. But here's the trick to embed that content. This is the single best button in their rich text editor in Schoology, insert content. Notice I can do all sorts of things here. If I'm a math teacher, I can create equations. I can, again, jump out to my Google Drive if I have documents here. What I want to do is add image media. The difference between this and this down here is that these I think of as almost like as email attachments. It's adding something to the bottom of the document as a reference. Using insert content actually puts that content right in the instructions. So image media. Now, this is not something on my desktop, so I'm not going to attach or upload a file. I'm going to jump to from the web. And this is not an image, it's a piece of media, it's a movie, it's a video. So I'm going to click media, and notice now this is asking me for an embed code. And I paste that code there. Gives me this yellow placeholder that is correct. That's showing you where the video is going to be displayed. Again, I could set a due date here for tomorrow. I could potentially enable grading, which we talked about in the last section. Now, notice this. Not only is that discussion in my folder, self-driving cars, it's also in the upcoming area in my calendar. If I need to change the due date, I can click the calendar icon and even move this to Monday. That automatically changes the due date. And there's the video, and my students can discuss below. They stay right inside of Schoology without being distracted by the rest of YouTube. So again, it's that embed code that we're looking for. And we're using that insert content button to get to the media area and adding media from the web and pasting that code. And again, these instructions are in that handout for you. Now, what I like about this and why I call it a foundational skill is you can embed all sorts of things. Check this out. Google Maps. I was just working with some history teachers yesterday who were going over geography and things like that. You can embed those Google Maps right inside of Schoology. There's an embed code, same way you did the video. Google Forms. Also, when you click that Send Form button, you can get the embed code and embed that form right inside of Schoology so they never go out to an outside link. Lots of options here. So This is immediately taking all of your content to the next level. Whenever you're on a website, look around to see if there's an embed option. It's certainly in most of the Google suite, but you'll also see this almost anywhere you see videos, and you'll start to see more and more of this option in other education sites as well. Of course, we've been talking about YouTube. We did this in the last session. Many people wanted to know if YouTube was accessible at their site because a few years ago, many institutions were blocking access to YouTube. So we'll do that again here so that you all can get a sense of how often YouTube is being blocked. Is YouTube accessible at your organization? Yes, it's accessible for everybody. Half of you wrote that. Many of you, it's accessible for you as teachers or instructors, but blocked for the students. Blocked, but we can whitelist videos. Simply go out to YouTube and Google YouTube for schools. You'll actually see some information here on that. Google does provide, especially K-12 schools, ways to whitelist videos, which is pretty awesome. Any common questions we're seeing out there right now, Kelsey?
We are definitely getting questions about, if YouTube is blocked at your school, can you still play content in Schoology from YouTube? And, the answer is no. But a lot of the concerns we're getting around posting videos on Schoology are related to some of the concerns we also heard during the discussions portion of this webinar, which is, some hesitation and just some concern around student privacy and behavior online, and how do you sort of monitor that? Because people tend to think of online learning, people get concerned about the wild, wild web and,
Sure.
Kids just, students adding inappropriate content and things like that.
Great.
And I think something I always tell our users when I get that question is it's really important to have a conversation about digital citizenship and online behavior before you introduce an online tool to your classroom.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
Just like you'd have a discussion about appropriate behavior in your classroom, in the physical classroom, it's also important to have a conversation about appropriate language and appropriate interactions online.
Absolutely. And something we talked about last week as well, just what you're saying, don't have a separate set of rules for the digital world than the physical world. If someone says something inappropriate in your classroom out loud, there's not like a bleep that bleeps out. Everyone hears it.
Right.
And there's specific disciplinary consequences. Those should be the exact same consequences online. Don't have a different set of rules. That creates quite a bit of chaos. Now, shall we ease people's minds a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, let's look at this discussion. Notice as the instructor, you can delete any comments.
Yes.
Okay? If there is something inappropriate, you can delete it and then take care of the discipline afterwards. In addition, from this course options dropdown, this moderate posts option, this will actually show you any comments that students themselves deleted. For instance, if they wrote something inappropriate, then a couple hours later deleted it and thought they got away with it, you'll actually have a record of everything students deleted in this area, which you'll find useful.
You can even, if you're really concerned about what students could potentially be putting out there, you can enable moderate post from the screen and then, read every comment before you publish it to the rest of the course. I think that tends to sort of hold back the discussion and it just slows it down by nature, but it is there as sort of a catch save if you feel that's necessary.
Yeah, and just as Kelsey is saying, I wouldn't start with this. I'd only use it as a consequence and tell everybody that because X, Y, and Z happened, that posts are going to be moderated for the day.
Yeah.
And students will be very bummed out and will not, we'll cut it out.
Yeah.
But you'll be surprised how well students behave in this area. And no matter what school district I've gone to, whether it's high school, junior high, or elementary school, people pretty much behave.
Yeah.
Especially if you're treating the online classroom the same as your normal classroom. Don't let it be the Wild West.
Yeah.
Let it be the same old thing. The best thing you can do with technology is make it commonplace, totally commonplace.
Yeah, and I think some of our most successful users and our most enthusiastic users are the instructors who take digital citizenship very seriously.
That's right. And you'll actually find in that public resource we shared, if you go to resources, public, and search for icebreakers, you'll notice alongside the discussions, we actually added a netiquette rubric there that you can simply add to the discussions and score students according to their online behavior.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a great way to start. We're not getting too much into rubrics today, but if that just caught your ear, I encourage you to search in the Help Center and check out rubrics, because Schoology rubrics are just the best.